Okay, this is Fred Scott. I am with Mr. Tim Giles. And it is my understanding that Mr. Giles was the undertaker that transported Mr. James Tilley to Austin to the coroner's office. I am meeting with him at his household in Yoakum, along with Lee Tilley, the brother of the deceased. And I am here to go ahead and get Mr. Giles' account of the situation of what happened at that time. Mr. Giles, will you please give us a statement of how you remember what occurred or what transpired at the time of James Tilley's death?
Okay, this is approximately about 5 p.m. On the day in question. 92 was the year. I forget the month and the day.
91, April 11th.
April 11th. Thank you, Mr. Tilley. Now, I went into the sheriff's department at that time to get a request for transportation of the body of Mr. Tilley to the coroner in Austin. And when I arrived at the sheriff's department office, they were engaged in deep conversation. And what I heard was that, well, I had to shoot the big nigger once to knock him down. And he didn't want to stay down. And one of the other lady sheriff deputies there had to shake the sheriff violently to let him know that there was, other people in the office, including myself, that was listening to his comment.
Mr. Tilley, was this the sheriff in Cuero, or was this the sheriff in Victoria?
This was the sheriff in Cuero.
So I would assume that was Mr. Bobby McMahon at that time,
Bobby
sir?
McMahon, right.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Please continue.
Okay, now after getting the paper from Mr. McMahon that was left there by Judge Glaze, we proceeded on to Austin to the county coroner's office of Dr. Christian Bernardi, and the first thing we did was to put the body on the table and undress it and identify all the markings on the body. Identify all the personal effect that he might have had in his pocket or may not have. And one question that stood in my mind is the number of holes that this body had in it. And one on his left leg appeared to have a raise mark. But the one on the left femoral area was a puncture wound. And I questioned the doctor, and he said this wound appeared to have been made by a gunshot. And I took it from there, and later on I informed Mr. Tilley's brother, what's your name? Lee Tilley, that there was a gunshot wound, because there was blood coming from this wound, from the back and front, and due to the massiveness of the body, it was a problem to turn it over to see if there was an exit, as well as an entry mark to this wound. And but this was no doubt a bullet wound. It wasn't caused by no stun gun or taser, because the taser is going to cause raised marks. This was a clear puncture wound, and it appeared to be made by a 22 or 38 caliber bullet. And but we didn't take the body over to examine the exit part of this wound theory. But there's no doubt in my mind, after seeing many gunshot wounds as my tenure as a mortician, there's no doubt in my mind that it was made by some caliber gun.
Okay, well, thank you. And, sir, as you said, the coroner in Austin, to your knowledge, he should have released this documentation to, I think you said, Judge Glaze in Cuero,
Right.
Texas. So we should be able to check with Mr. Glaze and either get the documentation or find out exactly why the documentation was not sent. Is that correct?
This is true. Now, since Judge Glaze ordered the document,
okay,
he was the person that was to receive the document and to further break it down and discuss with the family or those that were needed to know or concerned the importance of this document and all the contents of this document. Now, the family should have been given a clear document of that autopsy that was performed in Austin at that time, because they are the family and they all have a right to have that document. And why they didn't get one, I don't know.
Okay.
Judge Blaze should have been able to give them a copy of that document.
Okay. Well, Mr. Giles, thank you for your time. Like I said, the statement that you gave us, I think this will give much weight to the testimonies that we already have by Mr. Lee Tilley, his dad, and his oldest brother. Thank you very much for your time, sir, and we do appreciate it. Scott, and I am again with Mr. Tim Giles, the undertaker, and the case that we have been discussing about James Tilley. Mr. Giles, one question that comes to my mind is, in the police report, they stated that Mr. James Tilley died of a heart attack or some type of heart failure. One thing I would like for you to clear up for us, it's my understanding that on the left side of Mr. James Tilley's face, it seemed that it was bruised as well as swollen. In addition to the injury to his left side of his face, there was also massive bleeding coming from the mouth and the nose. In your professional opinion, sir, do you think that a heart attack or some type of heart failure would cause these type of symptoms?
There is a possibility. Anytime you have a rhythmic explosion of the heart, the blood is going to take the least resistant avenue, which might be through the esophagus and through the nose area, through the mouth, since there was no open wounds in the face and so forth. This blood's going to have to escape somewhere, and there's going to be acute and excessive swelling in that area whenever you have a heart attack, because the blood's going to go somewhere. It's got to go in the tissue spaces, or it's going to exit out one orifices of the body or another. So the mouth or the nose was truly a likely place for it to come to, since it's up in the upper chest, if there was a heart attack. But any time that you have a problem, like we say, we saw the bullet hole, this was probably one of the intrinsic causes. Now, having a heart attack could be a second phase of it. But anytime you get a zero level blood, the heart's going to stop completely. It's going to stop. It's going to seize up. And it's going to explode, suffering from the lack of oxygen. So the heart's got to stop at any time that there's excessive amount of blood loss in any area from the body.
So in effect, sir, you are saying that the bullet wound could have caused some type of heart failure as a result.
Yeah, any time that the blood is lost from the body, and whether it's exit out the body or it's trapped inside the body cavity, when that heart is not getting that complete oxygenated blood, it's going to explode. It's going to stop, irregardless. I don't care if you get a trauma to the finger. If you bleed excessively from your finger, and there's no oxygenated blood going through that heart, it's going to suffer that blood loss, and it's just going to stop. So it's going to cause a heart attack, irregardless.
Okay. Sir, it's also been brought to my attention that after the incident with Mr. James Tilley, once he was immobilized, however that may have been, but once he was on the floor, once he was placed in a helpless position, it has come to my attention that if Mr. James Tilley had received medical attention immediately, that he might possibly be alive today. Could you please expand on that, sir?
Well, there's a great possibility. You know, sometimes there are times when you're in the hospital right on the emergency table that it's a problem. But certainly, if you don't receive prompt and medical treatment at the time of a traumatic wound like that to the body or to any part of the body, you're going to die when you lose an excessive amount of blood. The bleeding's got to be stopped. And if it's not stopped, you know, hence the heart attack, the heart's going to stop. All the areas of the tripod of the body is going to cease functioning. If you're not getting proper air, you're not getting the blood that's supposed to go to the brain, the heart's going to stop and feed the rest of the body. The heart's going to stop, and you're going to die.
Okay.
If this bleeding is not stopped in time.
Okay. Well, once again, Mr. Giles, thank you for your time. I think we have established that there was some type of foul play involved in this entire incident. Once again, thank you for your time, sir. We do appreciate it.